Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the LOCUS Golden Hour podcast. My name is Kristina.
And I'm Lina.
So, this podcast is about sharing stories, advice, tips, and all things surrounding university and student life. And today we'll be talking about the transition into second year as you continue with your university career and transition out of LOCUS. So, we'll get started with an icebreaker question that doesn't have to do with what we're talking about. If you could have any pet in the world, what would it be?
Great question. I love this question. I thought about this question. I would want a pet raccoon.
A raccoon.
For people who don't know me, I am obsessed with raccoons. I think they're the most adorable things in the world. I think they're so cool. And they're like my spirit animal. I like whenever they're like, oh, what kind of animal would you be? I'd be like, a raccoon. Why? Let me tell you. First of all, they have deep under-eye dark circles like me. Second of all, they're nocturnal animals. They live during the night, they're awake. And they're basically trash pandas. I like to say that they're very resourceful
Okay.
and, they use what they have. So, they kind of, I don't know, I like their outlook on life, they're cute. They're really cute animals and I love them. And that was a long answer, but I'll pass it off to you, Kristina.
No, wait, I like that. Raccoons are so cute. I remember you painted a raccoon pumpkin
I
this
did.
Halloween, didn't you?
I did.
Can we insert a picture if we find it? Let's insert it right here.
Insert right here.
That's awesome though. I've seen like news videos about people trying to keep raccoons from climbing to their roof.
Oh.
Like they climb on like the water where the water comes down from the roof, right? And so they put like a little lip there so they can't get up. But then somehow the raccoons are so smart, they just get around it. And I find that really funny because they don't let barriers stop them, you know.
They really don't.
They really don't.
It's really funny because I actually on YouTube, there's a YouTuber who has a pet raccoon named Tito and also Cheeto.
I love
Um,
that.
and we just get like to see the vlogs of like basically their lives of like I don't know, he built like a whole like den for them and like I don't know, playing with his friends. Like the Tito the raccoon has some weasel friends or ferrets. I couldn't remember if they were ferrets or weasels, but they had a pool party for their birthday and they invited all their ferret friends and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the cutest thing in the world. So
I love that. I need a link to that.
literally I'll send it to you.
But if I could be or have any pet in the world, I would choose well, a cat. The simple answer is a cat, just because I really love cats.
What
But
kind of cat?
I really want a black cat with green eyes. I think like they're just so cute, but also partially because I wear a lot of dark clothing, so I feel like I can't have a light colored cat because then the fur would be noticeable.
Uh-huh.
But I would also choose a snake.
Oh.
If I had the guts to feed snakes like mice and stuff. Like I also like reptiles like chameleons, but I don't like bugs, so I can't feed them because they eat
Gotcha.
bugs, you know. But I feel like
Yeah.
like one of the snakes that doesn't get too big. I've seen some people that have snakes that are like they're small, they're like this, and they're really thin, and they just kind of like hang out on their arm while they're like working or something.
Yes.
That I would love that.
That's really fun. Oh my goodness. I remember I went to like, I don't know. I don't remember what it's called. Reptilia. I don't know. There's like a reptile like play. It kind of like I don't know. You have birthday parties there. It's like a museum of like not a museum of pets. I don't even know what I'm saying. But it's a place where you can see like a bunch of reptiles, right? And I remember like going in there and like seeing all like the reptiles and I was like, oh my gosh, they're so cool. And you get to like, I don't know, see them all. But I don't know. I feel like with zoos and like aquariums, I feel so sad, but they're also really cool. So it's very
Yes.
heartbreaking for me to like, I don't know, to see that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I zoos make me sad because they're not in their natural habitat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you think about it, if I have a pet snake, they're not going to be in their natural habitat either.
Yeah.
A glass box. Anyways, transitioning into second year.
We got a little off topic there, but that's okay. So okay, first of all, let's just address the elephant in the room. We're almost done the school year.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. Where did the time pass? Like literally, I don't know about you, Chris. I I don't know what to say. The woman was too stunned to speak. I literally don't know where the time has passed, but here we are at the end of the year. Final exams are coming up. And a lot of these students who are listening to our podcast, they're going to be in second year soon. They
Oh
almost
my
finished
goodness.
first
Yeah.
years.
Congrats.
Congratulations, everyone. So we're here obviously to help you, I guess, transition in second year, give you all of our tips, I guess. I think our transition was a bit different
It
from
was. It was.
compared to other people. But let's just, I guess, start with, I guess, the summer of like
Mhm.
what, you finish your first year. What are you doing in the summer, or what can students do?
Well, I think it's really useful to get a summer job because it can be hard to keep up a job during the school year. I feel like if you did have a job in first year, you probably found it quite difficult. And not to scare you, but like it does get a little more difficult as you go through the years. So you might have a little bit less
Yes.
time, especially if you get more involved in clubs and their extracurriculars and whatnot. So definitely take advantage of the time in the summer where you may not have any schoolwork and work a lot. For us, I feel like it's a little bit different because so our first year ended with COVID. I remember I actually got a flashback in my my pictures on the 18th, so like on Friday, that 2 years ago that day we got kicked out of residence for COVID. Like I was showing my empty apartment and stuff like that. Um,
Mhm.
and then I remember that was the first time all classes were online and it was like kind of hectic and chaotic, but I planned to work that summer. I think a job that can be really useful is like being a summer camp counselor. That was my plan for that summer, but then obviously summer camps didn't happen. But I think because you can work full time at summer camps and it does only run in July and August, but you can also find something for May and June as well. But summer camp counseling is a good option. Like you can look in your town or your city for what the city runs as camps.
Yeah, for sure. And if you decide to like not, I guess, work, catching up or getting ahead in school is always good. I know a lot of students either take like 2 courses, 3 courses, even like, I don't know, 4 to 5 if they want to get ahead. And then during the school year, you can have maybe 4 courses or a reduced workload. So that's always easier. You can focus on your core courses or like your courses for your major. Maybe you can even work during the school year. So it's just kind of as easier or a way to get ahead in your degree, because that's
Mhm.
always a good thing, hopefully. And I know sometimes I'm like, by the end, like when I'm about to graduate, I hope I have enough credits, right? So
Yeah.
I guess checking in with your academic advisor and seeing like if this is, a good fit for you, or even I know even working while maybe taking one course, that could
Mhm.
be an option. So definitely look into that. But also, if you decide to do nothing with your summer, like nothing as in like not doing work or school because like you'll still be doing stuff, that is okay.
That is also okay.
That
Yes.
is okay. You deserve the break. It is valid. Like you don't need to be doing something,
Mhm.
is what we're trying to say.
Because I mean, like, you've been grinding all year, right? And then after university, the grind continues when you're like working all throughout the year. So we're young. Take this time to take a break while you can in the summer, right?
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, during when you like graduate, you don't really have a summer. Like there's no summer break, right? There's no summer break, there's no reading week, there's just like holidays. And
Yeah.
if you get vacation time, but that's very different.
Mhm. Yeah. But I mean, if you do choose to take a course, I think spring registration has already been open for a couple
Yeah.
weeks or so. But you could talk with your academic advisor if you plan to do that. Like take 2 courses in the summer, and then that means each semester you only have to take 4 instead of 5 or something like that. But it is definitely like a lot more people do it than you think because it makes it the school year feel lighter. And so you can maybe still continue working in during the school year.
Yeah. I also think spring, like just being on campus in the spring is very different. It's summer, like, after classes, you can, I don't know, study outside or just go out and enjoy the weather a lot. So, yeah, I mean, also they offer remote and online courses. So if you're at
Mhm.
home, that's an option. But yeah, it's always a good thing to get started in the summer. But then I guess moving on to our next topic, let's talk about September when I think a lot of students are, living maybe on their own. I know LOCUS students, it's a bit different because either they're living on their own right now or at home. But for those who are still looking for housing, um, maybe even they're just students who are living in res who maybe are listening to this. How did you find your housing?
So, my roommates and I found it on Places for Students. In Brantford, there's not too many options. So, like, you get to weed out the ones that are like not that good places. But recently, there actually have been more like apartment buildings that are all for students. Like, I know a lot of our Locus OCAs actually live in the same building.
Oh,
So it's
no
funny.
way.
Yeah, like they sometimes in staff meetings, they like come down to each other's rooms and then attend them together. I don't know if you've noticed, but like I know Ashley and Jen live in the same building. But yeah, Places for Students is really good, especially because I know from what my landlord has told me, it costs quite a bit of money to put an ad on Places for Students. So you know that it's kind of like a good place that they want to advertise there. So they're not like terrible places on Places for Students. And my
Mhm.
landlord, like if we tell him something is broken, he comes and fixes it right away, that kind of thing. But yeah, I live in a house. I feel like in Waterloo, it's probably more apartments, right? In Brantford,
Yeah.
it's a lot of houses, like a lot of old houses that have probably been renovated. But yeah, Places for Students. I remember I signed my lease pretty early in first year, like
Mhm.
December early. But that's because I had like friends on my residence floor. Um, but yeah, that was a long-winded way of saying Places for Students.
No, that's great. I mean, a lot of people start like not job hunting, house hunting soon because things fill up really quickly. But I can actually talk on the other side of the end of being a last minute kind of person to sign because even in my first year, I'm pretty sure I signed my lease in July. So like
Wow.
literally like in my first year, I didn't know where I was living until late. And then even in second year, well, ours is different because with the pandemic, I didn't even know if I was gonna live in Waterloo, but I did decide to live in Waterloo during the pandemic and I signed in like August, which
Wow.
was yeah, it's pretty late. For anyone who is looking for maybe only 4 months because they have co-op, I would recommend Facebook. A lot of people sublet
Mhm.
because there's a lot of UW students and Laurier students who are on co-op. So you can get a good price for, the 4 months because signing a lease can be annoying, with the whole year. And if you aren't in that place, you have to sublet yourself and then you're losing out on money. So definitely check that out. I just be cautious. Obviously, like there's scammers out there. Visit the place, read the contract, know your rights, visit the place if possible. Um, there's, I guess, a lot of red flags sometimes when you're like talking to people, just be aware of those things. Um, and yeah, just be careful, I guess, when you're signing leases and stuff. But yeah, places for students, even just doing a simple Google search,
Mhm.
Facebook is always good. You can join those groups. I think those are my main tips.
Yeah, and I think sublets can be pretty good. Like in my house of five, we've had like the same core, like three people, but the other two people like have been sublets or like they've come and gone. And it's okay to live with strangers too, if that's something you're afraid of, like you only want to live with your friends. It's okay because it does help you focus on school more. I remember in our episode with Jess, she said one of her main pieces of advice was not to live with friends. So it's not bad to sublet, especially because especially if they're student places, like the apartment building is like for students, they're already furnished too.
Yes,
So that's not
yes.
something you have to worry about, like getting a bed or a desk or something like that, because they understand that students need a desk, you know. Um, so sublets are definitely great. And like you said, know your rights. Know what the standard lease agreement looks like. I think it should be like 6 pages. I remember my lease is like 15, which is weird.
Mine was
Um,
long too. I didn't know that
yeah.
rule, but
Um,
the key
yeah,
deposit
but
stuff is important, I'd say.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I think it should be 6 pages. Like you can Google online too what like the Ontario Tenants Board says, and just beware, know your rights, know your landlord can't just come in, all those kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to give you notice. In terms of key deposits, like you are supposed to get that at the end of your lease or like when you return your key.
Mhm.
Um, Make sure like, I don't know, sometimes if you get your bill, say like I know like mine's on automatic kind of payments, if it's more than what it's supposed to be, like make sure you look into that. I know some people have had
Mhm.
issues of like being charged more than they were supposed to be. So just keep that in mind and pay your rent on time if you're not on automatic deposits. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention when talking about roommates is like, especially if they're people you don't know and not your friends, set boundaries, set
Mhm.
rules about like when the dishes should be done by, like using the laundry machine, how clean it should be, stuff like that. And like people should be pretty respectful. I mean, and just like be respectful of the space, and you should be fine.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of, I guess, resources, we always talk about resources here. In second year, what resources are available for students and kind of what changes though? Because I know in first year, there's just a bunch. Are they the same ones? What is available for second years?
I mean, there's mostly the same resources that you can access, like the career center, the writing center, wellness center, academic advising, all those things is available like throughout your entire 4 or 5 years, whatever, in university. Um, for Locus, since it's like, you know, for first years, maybe you can't really like attend the events or win the prizes when you attend the events and whatnot. But I say that you can still like stay connected with friends in your community or even your OCA, because I know that we have some past Locus students that like to come and watch our streams and say hello. So that is like still a community, like a resource is like the people, a community that you can carry on.
For sure. I think keeping in touch with your OCA, that's really great. Hopefully like you developed a good relationship with them, or even just knowing like you can just reach out. Like I've had students in the past like reach out when they're applying for stuff in second year. And even if like you didn't talk to them that much, they're still there for you. Like they still will be happy to answer questions just about your program or just Laurier in general. Like I'm sure they'd be happy to hear from you.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's actually quite heartwarming. I remember getting a message from a student,
mhm.
um, like after like last year when I was their OCA. They're like, I don't know what to do here. And I was like, I can help you still. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah.
Even just seeing like I just sometimes see like my students, I don't know, like randomly, like I don't know, in like clubs, I see like they're a VP of something now, or just like seeing them kind of, I don't know, appear on the Laurier pages. I'm like cheering them on, on the side. So just remember that your OCA is rooting for you and they're still there for you, even if, you're not a Locus student anymore.
Yeah. And even if you're not a Locus student, you can get involved and join Locus, or maybe an
Mm.
icebreaker or something like that. Just like,
Yeah.
I guess sort of like give back, you know? It's like
Mm.
you're on the other side, and now you're on the other side where you're actually the one facilitating the events and stuff.
Yeah, that's always a fun thing. I know something that I used a lot in my second year for in terms of like academically was SOS. I think it's only on the Waterloo campus. Um,
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Essentially, SOS it stands for Students Offering Support. It's a social enterprise, and essentially they have like review sessions for exams, so midterms and finals. But there's a fee of $20, and that is a donation that goes towards building houses in Latin American countries. So not only are you gonna get this awesome review before your exam, but you also get to donate to a good cause, and it goes right into like helping those families and going into like the social enterprise rather than like a profit or anything. So that really helped me because like there wasn't any supplemental instruction or like extra help sessions, I guess, on the Waterloo campus for second years. So I know that club really helped in terms of helping me review for exams. So
Oh,
take a look at that if you're on the Waterloo campus in terms of academics. But obviously, your IAs are there, your professors are still there for your academics, and obviously, like the Career Center and everything is still there, the Writing Center. So yeah, but I just wanted to give a little shout out to them.
nice. No, I really like that. I I haven't heard of it on the Brantford campus. I'm gonna look into it more if it does exist here too. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it is only on the Waterloo campus for some reason. I don't know, but they only have a select, like, it's not offered for every course. I think a lot of the business courses they offer review sessions, maybe psych, but like I guess the bigger courses I would say have those course supports. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
Cool.
Speaking about courses, course selection.
Mhm. So just before this episode, to the people listening, I was asking Lena about it because I haven't done course selection in a bit, just because of the way my program works. I have some courses picked for me. But she did remind me, happens in the summer. What else did you say, Lena? Take it away.
It happens in the summer. Like you'll be given a timestamp or like basically when you're able to choose courses, because when it comes to choosing courses, since it fills up really quickly, you all know kind of as you were applying and choosing your courses in first years get to go first, and then based on credits, like I believe it goes fourth years, third years, and then second years, just because like for example fourth years need to graduate. So when it comes to like minors or just like specific things, like they kind of have first pick in order to like help them graduate, while like second years, you still have a while to go. But anyways, you'll be giving a timestamp, then just make sure you log in as soon as you can. I usually like try to have it open like prior to the time, and then choose. I have my list and then also
Mhm.
backups. Like I would say have backups in case your courses are full. Um, but yeah, I mean, you get to choose your electives. I know for me, some of my core courses are already chosen, so my job is easy. I just have to choose my electives, versus some people have to choose all five of their courses, which can be, I guess, intimidating. But I think just choose courses that you like, and that, read as much as you can on it, or do some research and see kind of if it would fit for you. I know a lot of people talk about bird courses, but I think bird courses are very relative, right? It's like, oh, I want to do something easy, but it might end
Mhm.
up being really hard for you just because it was easy for someone else.
Yeah.
And then at that point, if you're not interested in the topic, well, it's gonna be tough. So
Yeah.
definitely do something that you're interested
Like it makes it more fun too to take an elective that you like, even if it's not related to your course at all. Um, And in terms of planning, you can also use a visual schedule builder. I know Laurier has one. We'll put the link in the description of this podcast episode too. But you can sort of structure what time, because there's obviously going to be different options for times for classes. You can try to build it the way that you want it to, like so you don't have to get up at 8:30. Maybe you don't like a 7 to 10 class, something like that. Maybe you can have all your classes on these days, so you get your Monday off. Definitely use schedule builders. I know that I used when planning my first year courses, and some people don't know about them. They just take the course and then their schedule ends up being really hectic for the commute or whatever. So use a schedule builder for sure.
That thing was so helpful. Like
Yeah.
I remember looking at this, like I know there's like 300 different options. I'm like clicking through which one's the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you get to like pin things and then like move things around, and it's color coded, and you get to see like description. Like it's very useful. Though when you use that, remember if you like sign in, like you need to actually register your courses in Loris. So I know a
Yeah.
lot of first year students get confused about this, but I'm sure you've gone through the process now. Like the visual schedule builder is just for you, but you need to actually go in Loris to register those courses.
So like you can go and plan it before your time, stamp your time slot to register, and then you just copy the code of each course, input it into Loris, then you're done. It makes it a lot
So
faster.
easy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, is that all we have to talk about? Oh, also getting involved into second year. I don't know how involved you got in first year to those listening, but if you didn't, that wasn't your only chance. You can keep getting involved as you keep going through your university career. So, Lina, did anything change from first year for you as you continued on?
Yeah, I guess like I kind of continued doing kind of the things I was passionate about. Like I applied to be a Locus OCA. I was kind of continuing the clubs that I kind of joined in my first year. I think one of the biggest change was getting a part-time job. I started working with the university as an SI leader. I didn't work in my first year. I didn't think I could handle it. I just wanted to feel it out. I'm glad I made that decision. Um, and working part-time can definitely be difficult.
Yeah.
Even now that I'm working part-time, still in my third year, like it's another responsibility, but it was a good opportunity for me. I'm learning a lot and I enjoy it. It's also nice to, make some money on the side
Mhm.
because student loans and just like living in general. But yeah, I think that was the biggest change for me, like kind of, I guess, that additional responsibility of having to work. But I don't regret it, and I'm really glad that I had that opportunity to kind of work during the school year.
That's good. And if you want to look more into getting jobs, we did an episode on summer jobs that came out just a couple weeks ago, I think. So we talked about looking on Navigator with the school, but there's opportunities during the school year too that you can look into.
Exactly.
So keep checking Navigator. Um, for me, I worked part-time in my second year. I worked at Dollarama. I worked at the dollar store. If you go to the Brantford campus, it was the one by Freshco in that plaza, like the one Dollarama that's actually close to campus. And it was very hectic for me to do a part-time job that was like a very like hour like shifts hourly based, right? Because if you do work with the school, there is a little bit more, they understand that you're a student, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I worked there, it was like I would work until close on every single shift. And then like
Oh,
I'd be like, oh, I still have work to do when I got home. Or it was hard to do it with Locus because I was like, I want to plan an event for this day. But I didn't get my schedule for work yet, that kind of
uh,
thing. So I didn't work during the school year this year, but after first year, I did get some skills from FYLP, first year leadership program that I was involved in first year. And I plan on keep building that and I transition that into getting more involved at Locus. So also if you feel like you can't do a part-time job during school, that's okay. That's okay. Not everyone has to work during the school year.
mm-hmm. It's tough. Even now, I'm like,
I don't know how you do it,
we're
Lena.
we're handling it, but it is tough, I would say. It's balance, it's time management. We go back to the
Mhm.
idea of time management, but school comes first, and um, yeah, I think just remembering school comes first is really important.
Yeah. Um,
I think that's
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I think that is everything. We are now heading into our words of wisdom section. Words of wisdom. Insert here.
Words of wisdom.
For those of you who don't know what words of wisdom is, essentially it's the section of our podcast where we just share it's in the name, folks, words of wisdom, what we want students and listeners to take out of, I guess, in terms of what we just talked about, because we talked about a lot of things.
Mhm.
So going to pass off to you, Kristina, to start us off with our words of wisdom.
So I was thinking, like, as we were talking, I was thinking about how for a lot of them, we talked about preparation and stuff. Like, use the schedule builder, like look for houses and whatnot, build up those relationships. And I just want to remind people that although it is good to prepare, it's okay if you figure things out last minute too. Like how we talked about housing, like I signed in December, but you signed in July. That is like totally fine. So like don't stress too hard, don't worry too much. If you feel like you can't find a place, everything will work out. You will find one, even if you don't know what electives to take or what courses to take, because you're not sure if you want to do a minor yet or anything like that. Take your time, think about it. It's not too late to do things. Even now, if you want to try to take a spring course, talk to your academic advisor, see if it's still possible. Even though registration opened weeks ago, see what's there.
Yeah. Snaps, snaps, always. I would just say try to enjoy it because it goes by so quickly. Like it's seriously, I don't know, perhaps it was accelerated with the pandemic, but I really don't remember what happened my second year.
Me neither.
And I wish I could have enjoyed it more, all the moments of my clubs, all the learning that was done, and just I guess reflecting and taking a step back and being kind of proud of myself for just being nicer to myself, because I know it was a tough time. And even, you know, as things are, you know, going back in person, things are normal now, like it just is gonna fly by. So take advantage of your second year, your youth, your you know, the courses that you're taking, and enjoy it. That is all I have to say.
Yes. Hey, you might feel like I just want this year to be over already, but like live it. Even if you feel like it sucks, just live through it.
Yeah.
Because you might look back and be like, oh, those 4 years went by so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get to look back and say that you overcame that challenge and you came out stronger, and whatever you struggled with, you're going to be okay. I believe in you. We believe in you.
We believe in
We
you.
believe in you. Lenny believes in you. Locus believes in you. Everyone believes in you. With that being said, I think that wraps up our podcast very well. Make sure you follow our podcast, subscribe, and leave us a review. You can also follow us on our Instagram at LOCUS Laurier to stay up to date with all of our events and podcast episodes. And we'll see you next time, which will be our last episode, which is absolutely amazing. And just, I can't believe it. But until then, stay golden, everyone. Bye.
Bye.